Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. Mostly sunny skies. It's breezy here at the Big A today. And this is closing day of the spring meet. The main track is fast. The turf courses are firm. Portable rail up at 9 feet on the inner and at 24 feet on the outer turf. And with this being closing day, we will have mandatory payouts in both pick fives and in the pick six. In today's first race, scratch 3, Vincent, and 4, Crock of Gold. First race, scratch numbers 3 and 4. In the second race, scratch the also eligibles, 11, Girls on Fire, 12, Sabrine, and 13, Blind Sight. Scratch 11, 12, and 13 out of the second. Today's third race, the Park Avenue division of the New York Stallion Stakes, scratch number 3, Gris Tormenta, scratch the 3. In today's fourth race, which starts the pick six, and again we have a mandatory payout, scratch number 9, Scotty Brown, scratch the 9, Scotty Brown. Race 5, mandatory payout in the late pick 5. Jockey change on the 2, Inkblot, to Mike Luzzy. Mike Luzzy rides the 2. Number 3 is 1 pound over. The 13 is 1 pound over. And we have these scratches. Scratch 7, Frosty Invasion. 11, Tingling Mint. 15, Liner Right. And 16, Missing Fortune. Scratch 7, 11, 15, and 16 out of race 5. No changes in the 6th. And there are no changes in the 7th. The 8th race, the Memories of Silver Stakes, scratch number 2, Waters of Miram. Scratch the 2 out of the 8th. And in today's 9th race finale, numbers 2 and 5 are 1 pound over. Scratch the also eligibles, 13, Royal Time, through the 16, Rush to Honor. Scratch 13, 14, 15, and 16 out of the 9th. Main track fast, turf courses firm. Mandatory payouts in both pick fives and in the pick six today. We'll be back at 12:50 to recap the changes. First race post is at 1:20. Up next, the closing day edition of Talking Horses with Sterling and Stabile.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the, it's sad to say, the final Aqueduct, final Aqueduct Talking Horse until the fall. We'll be back. I was going to tweet and say, because I tweeted and I said it's the final Talking Horse, and I was going to say with Anthony Stabile, but I figured people were saying, if you tweet that, where's Anthony going? Yeah. So I couldn't do the English there.
I'm not going anywhere.
So anyway, but we'll be moving to Belmont. We'll be there Thursday.
I'm ready to go to Belmont, Andy.
I like going to Belmont.
I'm ready.
I just like the Big A.
A little change of scenery is going to be nice.
It's not anti-Aqueduct.
No, not at all. We love Aqueduct. We're probably two biggest fans of Aqueduct in the world.
Yeah, it's not Belmont. I'm very happy here, very comfortable. Anyway, we'll be at Belmont, though. And you have to go to Naira Bets. Free $25 Derby bet plus the $200 sign-up bonus. Use the promo code Derby25, and you can sign up through Naira Bets. Play through Naira Bets. Keep the money in the game.
Very important.
As it is closing day today, all pools are mandatory payouts. There will be no carryovers.
Already tweeted out a Pick 6 ticket. It's up at NairaBets.com.
All right, there you go. I don't remember, I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I don't remember a Pick 6 being one ticket alive and the horse getting put up in a DQ. I'm sure it must happen somewheres, but that's pretty random to have because you don't, I mean, how many DQs did we have here all winter?
We've had a couple of times at Gulfstream where they disqualified a Rainbow Six winner. But no, I don't, that's a pretty good put up, right? That's a lot of money to get put up for.
Yeah, I mean, it was a legitimate takedown. Yeah. Obviously, if you bet the horse that finished first, you would rather have seen there not be any bumping and see if the other horse was hanging. But it was a legit takedown. Mm-hmm. Anyway, all mandatory payouts, all the Pick 5s, and
everything
the Pick
must
6.
Go.
What else do we have? We have tickets for the Belmont Stakes on sale now. Go over to BelmontStakes.com.
Less than 7 weeks away, and you believe that?
Correct. 48 days and counting. And finally, last but not least, 1 to 6:30 on FS2 here and Oaklawn. So race number 1, I think you and I are in agreement that there are 2 major players, and I think the public will agree with us as well, though there seems to be some odd early money for Lord Brownie. He got bet early last time.
Yes, he did.
So maybe there's people that rushing to get it in. Maybe they're like a tangential My Racehorse. We'll take a look at Fast and Furious.
Maybe they're like brownies.
It felt like, I'm going to stay away from that one. It felt like the track was a little fair yesterday, but as the day wore on, it felt like we were back to Gold Rail City. And with the scratch of Vincent, and I don't disagree, if it was a straightaway and I wasn't worried about the track playing, I think the horse you picked up, Sensible Conclusion, might be the better horse. This horse was supposed to win last time, but man, I mean, he's loose, isn't he?
Yeah, now he is. Because I did think Vincent was going to put a little pressure on him.
He's supposed to. Yeah.
I didn't want to switch my. You know, if it was the other way around, and it was an even money shot, I'm going to keep the 3-1 shot on top. I just thought.
I considered it myself. I'm
I'm hoping Sensible Conclusion.
It won't be 6-3-1.
No, it won't. No, they'll be closer.
Even in 2-1 or something.
I'm hoping he appreciates a little cutback in distance. I really think he will. I think it's going to help him immensely.
I think he will.
And I know you see the second place finish in the mile and an eighth. That's, I think the cutback, I think the 7/8 is going to hit him right between the eyes.
I also think being down the inside wasn't great for him last time, chasing in the mud. And I agree. I mean, I think.
But you're right. On a fair racetrack, he has a much better chance. If the track is playing the way it's been playing, Fast and Furious is going to have a decided advantage over him and the rest of them.
Right. And I would say that, let's assume for a second it's a fair racetrack. It's a pretty pivotal race for Sensible Conclusion because there's also the argument that he may just be going the wrong way.
You can't pick him or bet him if the track's fair, and we won't know that until later on today, obviously. So
race number 2, I picked the favorite Kemba. You're trying to beat her, and I don't blame you. We'll show her finishing second in her last turf race before Ray sent her down to Turfway. He must have like a family at Turfway. He sends these horses.
He's had a couple of good winters down there.
No, Ray's had a very good winter here too.
Yeah.
On paper, this horse is kind of a layover, especially consider Summer of the Spa, who's really the only contender on paper, legitimately coming off a layoff. And I think I have some stats for Michelle. I don't know if I put them up or not. Yeah, we'll show them a little bit. Is not great off layoffs. The problem with this is that Kemba's never won a race rating on the turf. Or won a race period rating. And I just feel like her very best races are on the front end. And it's a little hard to make her the speed in this race. In fact, your horse is supposed to be the speed.
So the reason I picked...
A horse that has no chance on paper?
One of the reasons I picked... Well, it's first time Rob Atchis on turf.
I know.
I don't know if she's a better turf horse or dirt horse.
The problem is she didn't really run well for him on the dirt. That's the problem.
Right. And what I'm hoping is the fact that he got her to win on the dirt when I think she's probably a little bit better for turf horse.
At 6-5 over the mighty My Delicious.
Listen.
She ain't so delicious.
But she's not. She's going to be 8-1 today. And I think she can disarm Kemba a little bit. So now if I think she can get in front of Kemba,
what about easy play? You think that Trevor's not going to be forward with easy play? Don't you think a horse like Easy
He's
Play's
got to
gotta
go.
go?
He's got to get around. He's got to get around.
I'm not
Love's
saying
Misery.
around, but I think he's
Yeah.
going to keep her company.
Maybe.
I don't think she's got some sort of easy time on the front end.
Maybe.
And I also think that Dylan has to lead from the rail. And I'm not
He has
saying
to try
he's not
to.
as fast as that horse. And
Right.
I'm not saying he's going to be in front. But I think
But
he
he
would be
has to
very
try to.
foolish to not.
I don't
because,
disagree.
You know, but I can totally understand the concept of playing against Kemba because I don't trust her
No.
trying to pass horses. Now she may find herself just going by horses and there's nobody there to catch her, and it's one of those things. But
She's going to be. She is. Under the circumstance of under the dynamics, you would imagine she's not going to get in front, and at as short a price as she is going to be, I think she was worth taking a little bit of a shot
it's fine.
against.
You know, it's fine. There's very little places to go in here.
No, I mean, listen, we have the same four numbers, and I just basically took a little bit of a shot against her. But I mean, it's really hard to, on paper, unless you think
Well-
Love's Misery can get better for Rob Atras on the turf. It's hard to get past the 1 and the 5 in here.
I will say that if I trusted Summer of the Spa to be ready, and Michelle's horses often need a race, we'll show you a stat. 6 to 12 month layoffs in the turf. In turf route, she's just 1 for 18. I would have no problem betting this horse because I know she can rate, and I think she'll get a little bit of pace to run at.
Supposed to.
But I just don't trust her to come back off a layoff. And the reality is, she didn't run that well before the layoff. Though, to be fair, she chased a pretty quick pace on June 19th. I think I bet her that day. And that race did sort of come apart in the late stages. I could have gone 5-1. I'm not trying to beat the obvious in here, but you're going to take a shot with Love's Misery.
Yeah, plus I get a little bit of recency on both Kemba and Summer at the Spa.
This is pivotal because, well, I mean, I know that's, you know, Kendrick is 2 in front of Dylan, but Dylan's got 7 mounts. Kendrick has 5, and Dylan's on like 5 favorites
Right.
today. I mean, he could be tied after the early double, right?
Yeah,
Or not.
or not.
Race number 3. We'll show Yo Cuz, who's going to be an overwhelming favorite. I have to bet against Yo Cuz. No, this horse is dramatically dressed up. I'm not saying she's not a nice horse. I'm not saying she's not the horse to beat, and she, as always, got lucky and drew the rail. She's going to have her comeuppance because last race she was in, there were actually 2 or 3 faster horses than her. For a whole cornucopia of reasons, which I'll never be able to figure out, she walked on the front end. And it was a track that was favoring speed. The time before that, walked on the front end at a mile. She's gonna face other pressure here because I think that Silvera's going with Starship Lauban. And Starship Lauban is faster than she is. And I'll tell you something, I think for a horse that's gonna be 3 to 5 or less, she's not as good as she looks on paper. She's not running super fast races while getting everything her own way. Everything. Now, maybe there's just nobody that can beat her in here, and that's fine. But I think she's all dressed up with nowhere to go.
I couldn't pass her up.
Yeah. Well, I think her record, her recent races belie her overall ability. I believe that she's going to get into competitive races and things aren't going to go her way, and I'll be very curious to see if she can run as effectively as she has. I'm probably going to be wrong, and she'll probably win again, but I'm betting against her.
Okay.
I wish I could have bet bank on Anna. And we'll show the start of her last. But the reality is, and she did stumble legitimately, and we'll show you the start and head on. I mean, you don't ever want to stumble, and she's the 2 horse, not the 4.
It's probably the best thing that happened to her.
It didn't, right. What happened was she ended up getting a super trip behind there.
They went pretty good up front, and she was able to get a good trip on the Jose Loscano, and
Right,
she was able
bad
to pick
and
him up
good.
late. Yeah.
Bad and good, you know, one of those things.
Right. Not his fault that she breaks poorly, but once she does, he doesn't, you know, a filly that went wire to wire in a
stumble.
prior start, he doesn't rush her up. He lets her just, I mean, it's a pretty bad stumble. So he lets her gather herself.
But she didn't hit her nose. She didn't go, you know, she didn't. I don't think, you know, you think, see how quickly she sort of got back in stride.
But it was bad enough where, you know,
it took her out.
it took her right out of the race. And then she was still able to win. So
They got hungry
I'm
in
a
the
fan.
stretch.
I used her last time. Like, I think she's a nice little filly. I think both the 1 and 6 are probably better than her.
I don't know about the 6, but I know Nessa's horses are suddenly running here, and I actually thought she ran pretty well when she lost 2 back, and I'm just going to hope she goes on ascend here. And
Okay.
I think if she does, she has a chance to upset.
Okay.
I'm not, believe me, I'm not in love with her.
No, it's hard to.
I want to take a little shot against Yo.
That's fine. It's hard to take a real big stand against Yo Cuz, but if you want to take a little shot, I can see that. You think she's a little dressed up, and that's
But
fine.
race number 4 was a somewhat of a tricky race because I feel like
my horse. My horse scratched. I like my horse a lot. Yeah.
Why did you like a horse a lot for a trainer that wins one race here every 3 years, 5 years?
Well, other trainers who haven't won here are starting to win here as well.
I know that's why you picked the horse.
And
but
she had the turf recency.
probably a good scratch for you.
I don't know about that.
I do.
Okay.
But we'll see. Well, she scratched. So
Yeah, we're not going to say.
Okay, so why do you like Athenry?
Despite the numbers you put, well, those are route numbers. I thought,
Well, this isn't as long a layoff. This is a winter.
This is a winter
turf layoff. The other one was an
on.
extended layoff from the summer.
Right, you'd have to imagine this horse can't run 2 steps, can't walk on the dirt, right? I mean, the fact that they never gave this horse any kind of chance on the dirt, because I mean, look at that Tomlinson, Andy, 169 for the turf. You would think they would have given this gelding a shot on the dirt. I don't know. I thought this horse's. I thought this horse's last 3. I think the sprint races they're so much better than the route races, than the mile and beyond races. That it's not even funny, really.
No, I think he's perfectly logical in here. I don't have any problem with him. How worried are you that Stanhope's going to wire the field? I'm kind of worried he's going to wire the field. I think he's dangerous.
Yeah,
you don't have many.
I don't know. I didn't know what to do with him.
Oh, he's going to be in front.
He keeps stopping.
You say he keeps stopping, but meanwhile he's running Beyer speed figures that are the same, if not better, than the horse you like. I think he's running some better fields. I'm not in love with him, but I definitely think he can win this race. You know what my problem with Propensity is? This is the kind of problem you usually have. This horse basically has had no break. This horse just keeps running and running and running since he came back.
Yeah.
Now, I will say he's a better sprinter. I don't know why John took him to Florida. I know he won a race to run him in route races, but maybe he feels he can't win at 5 furlongs, but he's probably better at 6.
Yeah, that's what part of the reason I used him. And for me, it's 5-1 and then a little bit of a drop off to Propensity. But I can't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, his better races and the bulk of his better races are in the sprint races.
Mm-hmm. And the shorter the better.
Yeah, shorter the better.
Taylor Mineshaft's actually, the dam was a good turf horse, but her production has been lousy. For what it's worth, first time on the turf off of Cleveland is 1 for 9, so it hasn't worked a lot.
Dam was 3 for 19.
As far as subsidized, we'll take a look at him winning on the turf back in June of last year, almost a year ago. My general feeling with him is he's improved recently. His race 2 back is the best dirt race I think he ever ran. And now he's getting onto a surface where he ran better, more consistently. My concern with him is 6 a little short for him?
Yeah, it might be. But the fact of the matter is, in the 3 turf races, he ran against so much better in the starter in September. I mean, those horses would be any kind of price in here. And then even the race for the Open 50 against the 3-year-olds back in that first time he ran on the turf, he didn't have the best trip. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the 3/4 for him, but he's obviously a player.
Yeah, I didn't love anyone in here.
Yeah.
I would use any of the 1, 4, 5, a little 3 in there, but I think the 4 is more dangerous than
I think the 2, if the 2's the right kind of price, I think the 2 would be the 3rd horse in for me just because of his better sprint form.
Okay. Race number 5. Big player came out of this race with the 11 horse coming out, Tingling Mint. What'd you do here?
I went to Michelle Nevin. I went to Dancing Bella. First time Michelle Nevin. A little bit of a kitchen sink here. Stretching out. First time Lasix as a 2 turning 3.
She's in the stat, she's in the 1 for 18 stats.
I know. I'm well aware. The difference between those 2 is this one's going to be 8-1, and the other one's going to be.
But what about stretching out? Do you suggest that she's going to be able to stretch out?
As a war dancer.
But she lost ground throughout a 5.5 furlong race.
Yeah, again, at specialty competition, first time out 7 months ago.
Still.
Almost 8 months ago. And I mean, obviously, and this is one that's not a winter break because this horse missed 3 months of turf season. So obviously something went amiss.
Yeah. I got her 4th, but I don't like this horse. But we'll see. I mean, listen, there really isn't any significant form to go on, and I think some people will, sort of fall into super snake. I'll show you a stat from Mike Maker, and this horse has a ton of turf pedigree.
After tapitation.
Yeah, it's a nice horse, a gray. Ralph Nix. See Ralph Nix tapitation?
Yes.
At one point, yeah.
He was. At one point,
Those
I want to
numbers
say it was
for
like
Mike
Tommy
Maker
Bush
are not
maybe?
very good.
No.
Yeah. And I saw those, and that bothered me. And listen, this horse does have plenty of pedigree, but also sold for $6,500 with that pedigree.
Yep.
So you feel like he may be walking around with two heads. Well, I mean, that's just no money at all for this horse, right?
Yeah, but this was as a
Taking a long time to get the races. No, it was a yearling.
Yearling? Oh, it was a yearling, right? 2020.
It was the September sale at Keeneland. It was probably in book 436.
Didn't go for 1.7. Didn't go for 0.7.
Yeah, so I'm a little skeptical, and I think a lot of people are going to fall onto this horse because
there's nowhere else
they're
to
going
go.
to see Maker, and they're just going to say, even if they know the pedigree, well, nobody else can run in here. One Track Mine. I wish he wasn't named Mine, or she wasn't a mine shaft. But she's produced 7 horses to try the turf. 4 of them won, and 2 of them were actually pretty good. And if you look at them, it feels like they moved up on the turf. And I'll tell you something else about this horse. I thought Cardenas could get some good position with this horse. I don't know. I don't love this horse. I just thought there was enough pedigree in a race where I didn't have anywhere else to go. I wasn't enamored with the 11. I think the 8 War in Paradise is very dangerous in this race. I don't know that she can get the lead, though she showed so much more speed last time. But I'll tell you something. She moved up significantly on the turf. She was wide every step of the way. And if this rider can get her to save some ground and get position, I think she's dangerous in this field. There's nothing wrong with her last race.
No.
So I'm gonna fool around with 8s and 12s and try to make money if one of those 2 horses win.
Okay.
That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. That's first 5. Be back with the late pick 4 in a minute.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Great point.
So Keisha just texted me. It was Eddie Keneally and then Ralph Nix. Though it's funny you said it, Tom Bush. I possibly thought you were right, but maybe not.
Yeah, I thought so.
Maybe at some point. Tom retired.
He did.
Tom won a lot of big races.
He did.
Exclusive partner. Horse he did very well with. Race number 6 is the I Don't Trust purse. Right?
Yes.
I mean, I really don't trust Joycey Has Pizzazz to keep the form going. Frankly, it's not a knock on the Toscanos. I don't trust Mr. Pete because I thought his last race was awful. And I don't love that they claimed him and dropped him, even if it works for the purse.
Mr. Pete, by the way, just for a quick note, Mr. Pete was scratched a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Pete was claimed by Wayne Potts for these connections. And the connections have since moved the horses to John Toscano and Gustavo Rodriguez. So when this horse was claimed and entered maybe 2 weeks ago, it was for Wayne Potts.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You picked him.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd totally forgotten that. I did not like his last race. Now, here's the race that Joycey Has Pizzazz beat him. This is 2 back for him and about 50 back for Joycey Has Pizzazz. And the reason I showed it is I don't trust that either one of these horses. Now, I think that Mr. Pete I trust much more, and I trust Toscanos to do well with him. I just felt like he should have won. He should have run better last time. I'm not saying he should have won. He should have been closer.
That's fair enough.
I thought he was really disappointing last time. Now listen, he still ran 72 Beyer. Listen, I'm taking a horse Musical America, Anthony, that I don't trust that he can run at all anymore. Avoided claim, switched to Rob Atras, but he is the inside speed if he can still run.
So I didn't want to pick him because despite, and I try not to disagree with David too often, I think he's going to be a clear
David's
favorite
got
in here.
2 7-2s, a 3 and a 5-2.
And
I
don't see that happening.
I don't agree with you. I don't think he'll be a clear-cut favorite. I don't believe anyone can be a clear-cut favorite in this race. I don't believe it.
How did we do yesterday?
You lost 4 2 days ago. You didn't lose any. You didn't bet yesterday.
That was 2 days ago?
Yeah, your horse is at the 8th pole, though, if you want to see him now.
That was 2
My horse
days
lost
ago,
by
huh?
that much. Yes, 103.
No,
I'm not saying you won't.
No,
be.
you gave me 2 to 1.
Yeah,
It was 90.
Oh, 4 2, so 101.
Yeah, you
Very
did
good.
102.
You're right. That's right.
I would like to take.
I'm losing it.
I would like to take a lunch that Musical America is under 2 to 1.
No, I'm not going to be shocked if he's 9 to 5 or something.
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a clear cut. And that's the main. Listen, to me,
I'll take 8 to 5 and over. I'll take 520 and over.
I can't give you 9 to 5. Okay. I take 9 to 5 as a push.
No.
I would take 9 to 5.
I'm not. I don't have a strong opinion here.
I think they're going to see him going back to Rob. They're going to see a lot of. Listen.
Going to see 2 terrible races and avoided claim for 16,000.
They absolutely are. But
and by the way, Michelle Nevin's not exactly some bad trainer.
No, but Rob had plenty of success with this horse. This horse ran some good. The truth of the matter is, save that one race back in September.
A long time ago.
I don't disagree with that.
It was a year ago, but it was a lifetime ago.
What did you name the race? People are going to look back to that.
Think about that horse that Rob claimed, and you picked it that day at a 1 1/8, and then I stupidly went back to it in the 1 3/8 race. The magic just didn't work.
Air Attack. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so. Listen. I picked the horse going to be the inside speed, and I'm hoping he can win. But I don't trust anyone here. And the thing is, I think Eucharist is a little bit interesting, but. Where are his good races? His One Big Fig was a perfect setup on a wet sealed track. I mean, I think he's
Pace
a little
collapse,
bit interesting.
He keeps flying, yeah.
I mean,
Debo,
Zavion has races, but he's off avoided claim and a long layoff, and he's in for 12-5. And the other thing about Zavion,
I've had enough of Zavion.
Well, do you know what the real problem with Zavion is?
No.
He's not the one. Oh, he couldn't run for the waiver. There's somebody that could have run for a waiver. Maybe that was yesterday.
Right.
He can't run for the waiver. There's somebody that was coming back. Oh, you know who it is? It's in the second race. That was my problem with Summer at the Spa, I forgot to say. She could have run for the waiver, correct?
Hold the line, please.
Or is it the last year?
It's...
Because she ran a year and 6 days ago.
She could not run for the waiver because it was 40,000, not 30.
No, well, she was claimed for 30. She ran for 30.
No.
Oh, it's the last race
they ran.
Oh, okay.
The last race they ran.
Corrected, okay. I think any one of these horses can win.
Yeah, probably. Listen, the only reason I didn't pick Musical America is because I believe Musical America will be a clear-cut favorite.
I don't agree, but
okay.
And I don't have an opinion, but I mean, I even look at Speedy Kid because I always look at horses claimed by Antonio Arriaga. And before people say, well, Heman Harkey's riding, he wanted a big price with Heman Harkey off the claim.
Yes, he did.
And you're telling me that he's going to have a good race that can win it?
Listen, you're going to take a stand.
Achilles Hope is the only horse in this race that feels like it has no chance to win.
Right, you're going to take a stand. Right, you're going to take a
We've had a few of those.
It's been around, yeah.
What about Steve Chris' horse last week? Stephen Ken's horse. What's his name? The Thin White Duke.
Yeah, Thin White Duke.
You make him in that race. He won 33-1. Dave Donk was right. He said he wanted to go long on the turf. He was right. I mean, by the way, that horse got some ride by Vargas.
I was about to say that. He worked out some trip and he finished very nicely on
that horse.
Yes,
Good a ride you can give a horse.
Yep.
Race number 7. Race number 7 is an interesting race, and I think it's a very, 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 very hard race.
Want to throw one more very in there? It is a very hard race.
We'll look at Woohoo, That's Me, who everybody likes, running against Hot Rod Rumble when he broke his maiden. I'll say a couple things. Hot Rod Rumble is an improved horse since then, and he is going to be the inside speed, though he's supposed to take pressure. On a fair racetrack, he's in trouble.
No, right. On a fair racetrack, I really don't want him, but on this racetrack, you have to respect him a little bit.
The track we've had. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
And I'll show you some bad stats for maiden breakers in New York at NYRA for the Asmussen barn. They don't come back and run as well, but I guess he was flattered. Now, Kaz Mike should have beaten him last time, and he would have if Trevor rode him, though Trevor rode Hot Rod Rumble that day. And Kaz Mike also took advantage of the bias yesterday.
I thought I was chicken dinner on the far turn yesterday with Unique Unions.
That was. I give Trevor. That was Trevor.
Yep.
A great ride.
Absolutely.
Listen, I don't like Hot Rod Rumble, but I'm scared that he could wire the field.
Absolutely.
Looking for troubles and win. I looked up Jorge Abreu's record, 4 to 8 month layoffs in the dirt, 1 for 15, 53-cent ROI.
Yeah, that's not good.
Is the one winner Venti Valentine?
Give me the stat again.
It's 4 to 8 months.
Yeah.
No, 3 months. She came back in 3 months.
Too short.
Yeah, she came back a lot shorter. Yeah.
Too short.
That worries me. But he can win this race. I got him second.
This horse is.
Running good horses.
Yeah.
He's a good horse.
2 races against maiden special weights. Those were 2-year-old figs. I mean, they stack up now.
But it's a 6. I know he wanted 6 furlongs. Probably wants a little more distance. And I think he can win. But the thing is, if I'm going to take a closer in this race, I'm going to take somebody to Price. And we'll take a look at Looking for Trouble and Taco Beam and Big Brown Shoes race. Going back, I think, last time for Big Brown Shoes, 2 back for Looking for Trouble. And Taco Bean, I think Taco Bean has quietly been in really, really good form. And he's going to get pace to run at. I don't trust the racetrack. And on the track we've had for the last 2 weeks, he's going to have a problem. But if they're moving up front, I'd rather take this horse at a much bigger price to close middle.
That's
pieces.
fine. Yeah, I mean,
He's been in good form for Pat Kelly.
yeah, yeah. Last 4 races, 5 of the last 6 really have been the no salt races. Really, the only day he didn't show up.
Yeah, no, his last 4 races have all been decent enough, and I thought he was close enough. I don't have any problem with the. I mean, the one can win this race.
Yeah, he's supposed to take some pressure, and like you know,
Yeah.
kind of like you said. I actually flipped it around after I had the race 3-2-1, and then I decided when.
Yesterday's track.
Yeah, I flipped the 1 and the 2 because he's such an edge. He's gonna have such an edge being inside.
Maybe I'm a little married to Bourbon's Hope because I liked him last time. I thought he ran fine. He does get Lasix though, and I think he's okay too. I don't think he's impossible in there. Speaking of Jorge Vargas.
Yeah.
So race number 8. It's the big return. It is the big return of the Breeders' Cup winner, Pizza Bianca, and she's running against Kazura Spending, who was 6, beaten like 3/4 in the race. It's interesting, and I don't, Pratt didn't do anything wrong, but Pratt came off the inside and kind of opened things up. We can show that replay. For Pizza Bianca to get that clean run inside. The thing about Pizza Bianca is, are we convinced she's that good, or did people just go hog wild because she won the Breeders' Cup race and she won it in such an exciting manner, you know?
I mean, I think they could be somewhere. It could
It's
be
somewhere in between.
between.
Yeah, no, I think she's pretty good. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I picked her. I'm not.
But I don't want her. I don't want her against Consumer Spending. Both of them coming back from this race at that disparity in odds.
What's the price?
Well, I mean, David has them 3-5 and 5-2. She's half the price.
Well,
I got to take a shot. I got to take a shot with the other filly.
she feels like she has to improve a little bit to beat her.
She does. Expand the map. Kind of had no excuse when she came back, and like you said, the Breeders' Cup race was a good effort. But you know, I think
Expand the map improved her by her figure about 10 points, by the way. So I
No,
wouldn't-
from 2 to 3. That's about right.
Well,
No?
but it's not like she's bad. I wouldn't bet against her because Expand the Map lost the other
No,
day.
I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying
Little
is
stretch.
she beat this filly less than 2 lengths, and like you mentioned, you know, Pratt kind of left where Pizza Bianca wound up.
There's no speed whatsoever in here, and both the 6 and 7, the riders have to make sure they get position. They should be
Right.
sitting 3rd and 4th. Who do you think is going to be in front here? My friend Nick Tamaro thinks Sailby is. I don't. I think a little love and luck that Kendrick's going to.
Oh, I thought a little love and luck had to
I
be
considered picking a little love and luck because this was just got a horrifically bad ride from Paco last time, and this is on Allure is the worst I thought from yesterday as we picked this race up from the 3/8 to finish at Tampa. This is the race. On Alert is the number 8, and you see where Javier is.
in the blue cap. No, sorry, last.
Yeah, he's
Last on the head.
yeah, last on the hedge. Wasn't even really in the picture.
Last
You
on
see
the
how he
right.
cuts that corner, and he picks about 4 lengths cutting the corner.
Yeah.
Whereas Paco, I think maybe he wanted to see Lafitte or something.
No, he's in no man's land.
I mean, and by the way, I don't think the horse ran that badly, given he was 3-4 wide around, basically 4 wide around the racetrack.
With a horse that has
It just-
positional speed,
right,
he's just so far out of the race. It made no sense.
Well, it's the whole make a decision, go or don't go, but don't sit out in the middle of the racetrack.
And you know, they didn't.
It was only 6-1.
Right. I know there was some moisture in the ground. There was a good deal of moisture in the ground that day, but they really didn't go that fast up front, and he made no attempt.
And this is a horse that has speed.
No attempt to try to find position. Which made very little sense.
Took me a while to remember who he was when he won that stake at 790 to 1, and I realized, oh yeah, I made a big bet on him in the race. Haughty got DQ'd when he was 11 to 1 and he collapsed. This horse has speed. And I'm going to tell you,
Kendrick will use it.
If this race gets upset, I think he's the one that's going to upset. I'm not against On Alert, who I think is okay.
But she has no speed.
Right,
This
she's in the
filly
same
has
position as
such
the 6 and
yeah.
7, and I just think they're better horses.
I mean, the truth of the matter is this. You said Nick thought Selva. If the 4 or the 5 have to be on the lead in here.
Yes,
And
I
I
think
would
it'll be a
imagine that a
little
little
bit
on
of
luck is going to be a little more aggressive. Because you would almost think overcompensates the wrong term, but it's the first one that comes to mind. 4 last time, you would say, all right, listen, that didn't work. Kendrick will be aggressive. And
I
use
was
her- use
thinking
her
of
speed.
Fire at Will when he won the Pilgrim.
Yep.
Perfect spot like that.
Perfect example.
I don't know that she's good enough, but I'll tell you something, she's not that bad.
No, the race. Look, the Ginger Brew. The Ginger Brew is a point faster.
The problem
than,
is you want to trust Gulfstream
No, I don't want to
races
trust
for
anything. But you're going to get. Well, listen, we've
I'm using
established she's going to have a tactical advantage in here.
Oh,
I just
if
don't
I
know
play
if she's
pick
good enough.
5 here, and I win the other 4 legs, I'll hit this if she wins because I'm
Wow.
going to use her. No,
All
I'm
right,
using
good
her. I'm scared of her wiring. I considered
Okay.
putting her on top.
Okay.
So the last Aqueduct race until the fall. So it's sad. Anthony, I'll take a moment to get her. There's an unusual amount of odd turf pedigrees with weird sires in here, right?
Yes.
The 3 Sarah Sky is a half to one of the cooler New York breds running in Sanctuary City. The dam is 3 for 3 reproduction.
Yep.
Touch of Buzz is a half to 3 turf winners, including Unlock the Potential.
Knew you were going to say her.
Well, I mean, I think that, you know,
It's a
there's the bottom, Barrel of Quest, is a half to 3 turf winners as well. Barrel of Destiny.
Destiny, yep.
I'm a little, that horse, you know, saying that horse, this is one.
Even
Cardenas,
the two has a little special envoy. Was a
Yep.
knockaround stakes horse.
she's
Half
0 for
the-
6 with first-time stars in turf routes.
Kathy Demasi. Okay.
Yeah, never hit the board. That doesn't mean the horse can't win, but
No.
Didn't you pick this horse in the dirt? It got scratched.
Possibly.
You did. This horse was down in the dirt, and you picked it, and it scratched. I remember that. I remember wondering why it scratched. If a goofy horse wins this race, I think this will be Barrel of Quest saying the lead in here. Just go.
Okay.
But you do have 2 legitimate horses in here between the 1 and 10. Now, Highgate Road we'll look at. Supply Chain came back and duplicated the 80 Fig. Didn't win. Might not have loved the going at Keeneland. They felt it didn't handle the softer going. This horse got a good ride. These are better horses. Now, say something else. Why would you possibly want to win first out in a $27,000 race
you
with
can
a New
win
York
for
bred?
70.
When if you're good enough to win that race, you're very likely to take home almost $40,000 in a purse here. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to be out of your mind to want to win. I'm not saying they didn't try to win,
Right.
but my guess is that horse clearly needed a race.
Sure.
And then you've got Mr. Connecticut. And I do think it's important to note that, you know, for those of you who don't know who Mr. Connecticut is, it's Miguel Clement.
He's now officially Mr. Connecticut too.
He is. I feel he should have changed his last name to Courtney, and she should have kept hers. And so they got married,
Leave my man
Acacia
alone.
and Miguel, and then they gelded Mr. Connecticut.
They did.
It was a running joke because Acacia was Miss Connecticut, and I think one of the owners called him Mr. Connecticut, right?
That's
is it
correct.
these owners, or
I would
was
assume
sort of
it
a
is.
running joke, a good-natured joke, nonetheless, and is now gelded. This horse, you see that lax room 8th pole? We'll show the race. Sometimes, you know, that's the chart comment, and it's sort of a joke. This was not a joke. This horse had absolutely nowhere to go.
This horse was jammed up. Yeah.
Javier, it wasn't. Javier gave a good ride. He just got unlucky.
Yeah.
He's in the green cap, right?
He's moving. He's the 11, I believe. He's going to move between horses there.
Look, Javier's got his feet in the dashboard.
Yeah.
He can't even ride the horse.
Nowhere to go.
He knows he's got nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
Now he's going a little bit here, but it's just too late.
He's got Umbria
some
backing
horse.
up into him. Yeah, you got nowhere to go.
And he does draw much better than the 10.
Yep.
But I'm hoping the 10 is better.
That
but
was
I
it for
would-
me.
I would use
The
both.
draw. That was it.
Yeah.
Normally I would go to the recency, but one horse was drawn on the inside, one horse was drawn on the 10, and any chance we have to save a little ground here, I'm going to take that.
Good day for Trevor yesterday. Trevor won 3 yesterday. Right?
Trevor won 3 yesterday, including
Kendrick
Kaz
won
Mike.
2 or 3 also, right?
Kendrick won 2.
Yeah.
Maybe, Kendrick might have won 3
Might have
also.
won 3 also, yeah. Well, he got put up last.
Right.
That was a big
right.
swing.
Right. Yes,
Because
because
if
it was
they had
tied
the other one, it would
to
have been
2.
tied. No, it was 1, but it would have been tied if, it's like the baseball game, the
Yeah.
big baseball games, the 2 run leads. All right, that does it for the last Aqueduct card until the fall. But we'll be back. Mark my words.
We promise.
You, on the other hand, must head over to Naira Bets, and you must do it immediately. Become a member. Use the promo code Derby25. We will match up to $200 your initial deposit, and we will give you a free $25 Derby bet. And we also, mandatory payouts, in case you're one of the 2 people that may not know this, all pools paid out today, no carryovers.
Everything must go.
Everything must go. You see that movie? It's based on a Raymond Carver story with Will Ferrell.
No.
Ferrell and
It's a rare Will
what's
Ferrell.
her name? Who's in the town? Whose father's the producer, the director, the great English director, Rebecca.
I don't know this movie. This is a rare Will Ferrell movie. I
It's a
haven't
good
seen.
movie.
I've never
It's
seen
more
it.
of a serious role for him.
Okay.
It's based on a Carver. You ever read the Carver stories?
No.
What is it? Would you please be quiet, please? Oh, Carver's a legend. Shortcuts. You ever seen the movie Shortcuts?
No.
The Robert Altman movie? It's all based on Carver stories intertwined together. Amazing cast. Oh, it's a great
He
movie.
was in a good movie with Maggie Gyllenhaal too. Will Ferrell, where it was kind of I don't know.
Secretary? He played the James Spader role?
No.
Anyway, there's, if you've ever read anything by Mark Lehner is a very funny thing in A2 Babe about get your favorite movie, but you substitute different actors in the roles. Somehow it's a
interesting.
funny thing. Anyway, we'll move on. What else do we have? Test the Champion, Belmont Stakes. Get those tickets. Don't get shut out. Stop lazing around. Go over to BelmontStakes.com right now. Get your tickets. You'll sleep better. That's why you're not sleeping.
Stranger Than Fiction is the movie with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Correct. That is a good movie. That's
Yeah.
why the author and Emma Thompson's
Emma
in it
Thompson
too. Right?
and
She's the literary
Dustin
agent.
Hoffman, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's living in a book.
Yeah,
or
he's
something.
living in Queen Latifah's in that. Yeah.
Well, look up Everything Must Go.
Okay.
It's Becca. She's in a lot of movies. She's in Vicky Cristina Barcelona. She's really good. I just saw her in something really good too. She just directed the movie
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall.
Yep.
Yeah. Her father's Peter Hall.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Anyhow.
I know who she is. Got it.
Finally, last but not least, FS2, 1 to 6:30 today, here and Oaklawn.
See everybody at Belmont.
All right, we'll see you there. Look forward to it. Bye-bye. Johnny I up next to reprise Scratch and Changes.